new film about Marilyn Monroe suggests that she suffered her first miscarriage because of a fall. Can this really happen? The answer is a little nuanced. Stay tuned and I will explain. Hey everybody, every year the American Society for Reproductive Medicine has a meeting, and every year I come to that meeting. These episodes of Infertility TV are being filmed here. A miscarriage is the loss of a pregnancy that has been growing in the uterus at some point during the first 20 weeks. A pregnancy is commonly divided into 3 parts called trimesters. The first trimester lasts until about the 13th week of pregnancy. The second trimester lasts until about the 26th week of pregnancy. Somewhere around 92 to 99% of all miscarriages occur in the first trimester. At that point, the growing pregnant uterus is still very small and is surrounded by the bones of the pelvis. If a pregnant person falls and hits her abdomen, it would not touch the uterus. Therefore, falls that occur in the first trimester are very unlikely to be a cause for miscarriage. Some people might mistakenly think that a fall caused a miscarriage, however. Why? Many people don't realize that they are pregnant before the 6th week of pregnancy. Many miscarriages at this time go unrecognized. Over the next few weeks, a lot of miscarriages are happening. In fact, about half of all the remaining miscarriages occur between week 6 and week 8. If they happen to have a fall during that time and then later have a miscarriage, they might attribute the miscarriage to the fall, even though they might have gone on to have a miscarriage without a fall. In the second trimester, the uterus starts to emerge from the pelvis and can be felt by pressing on the abdomen. At 20 weeks, the pregnant uterus has reached the belly button. A fall during this time might cause a direct impact on the uterus, which might increase the risk for a miscarriage. It would have to be a pretty hard fall, however. The further along in the pregnancy a person is, the greater the chance for causing some trauma to the uterus. If a pregnancy is lost after the 20th week, we no longer call it a miscarriage. A fetus that exits the uterus at that time is called a premature delivery. Most of the time, a fetus that is delivered between 20 and 24 weeks will not survive. The longer the time after 20 weeks that the fetus is delivered, the greater the chance for survival. But again, deliveries at this time are not referred to as miscarriages. A fetus that has died while still in the uterus after the 20th week of pregnancy is called an intrauterine fetal demise, or IUFD. Although rare, it is possible for a fall after 20 weeks to cause a fetal demise. One of the main causes for an IUFD after a fall is called a placental abruption. This is when the placenta separates from the wall of the uterus. The larger the area of the placenta that is separated from the uterus, the less is left to support the fetus and the greater the chance that the fetus will not survive. A fall can do this, but it is much more likely after a severe trauma such as a car accident or domestic abuse. So what about that Marilyn Monroe movie? They don't say specifically how far along in the pregnancy she was. Could she be somewhere early in the second trimester between 13 and 20 weeks? Perhaps. She is walking when she trips and falls and she lands in the soft sand. I wouldn't have thought that her uterus would have sustained much trauma from this, but it's not impossible. The large amount of bleeding suggests a large abruption, which would be unusual from a soft fall like this. Uterine trauma that is sufficient to cause this would also have caused a lot of abdominal pain. She does not have any pain initially. As a miscarriage expert, I would say that the medical accuracy of this scene from the movie is poor. Infertility TV is your most trusted source for accurate information on infertility and miscarriage. If you are not a subscriber yet, hit the subscribe button right now. A new episode is released every week. Don't miss any episodes. You can also check us out on our website, IVF1.com, where you can become a patient.